What is good, everyone? A-Rock Oakley back with another deck tech video. We have Han Solo worth the risk again with Coronet City. So we're playing with Cunning, which I think gives this deck a lot of, great aggression and can play a very go wide strategy, very similar to what Han likes to do. And we get access to some really insane cards like Millennium Falcon and Surprise Strike. So let's dive into the deck tech. We'll start off with our ground units. We have 2 Greedo. This is just a great aggressive unit. It's hard to get the Wind Defeated to trigger, but him being a 3-cost, a 1-cost, 3 attacking unit is kind of nutty. So we definitely want a lot of these, and we can really push some good damage. So easy to resource in the later turns, but still just a great, if we can go double 1-drop or even 2-drop 1-drop on the first turn, we like to do so. R2-D2, sick. Card's dope. Looking at the top, shifting cards, always worth it. You want to see this as much as possible. Going double R2, we'll talk about the new R2 here shortly. Double R2 on turn 1 really helps us find exactly what we're looking for the follow-up turns, and I think they function really well together. Also, he carries a blaster super well because then he becomes a 3-4, which is very strong. New addition, Soldier of the 501st. This card, raid 1, that, can be a free unit. So it's a 1-1 that attacks for 2. Very solid, good aggressive unit. We really don't care if this gets picked off, but, if it goes unchecked, can push a nice chunk of damage, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Heroic Renegade. With Han's ability and the grit, this becomes a 4-1 on turn 1. So a 1-drop plus this is presenting a lot of damage, and he trades super well. So we want to see him pretty often, and in the later turns, easy to resource if he's just going to get picked off with something. So very, very good card in general. Demands an answer. The new R2-D2, full of solutions. Again, this combo is sick. We want to see this card a lot. Carries a blaster well. Can be Surprise Strike and take out a Sabine and still survive. Like, there's so much with this new R2. I think, one of the best cards from the set, Twilight of the Republic. So he's dope. R2-D2 really actually kind of just pumps and does his thing. And probably the most common, 2-drop is Sabine Wren, the Explosives Artist. This card is sick. Helps push through shields, sentinels, or not sentinels, but push through shields, and can do a lot of work. So Sabine's great. We can turn on her, being unable to be attacked ability pretty easily, since we are spamming the board, but it's not always a guarantee. So very, very strong options there. Those are our turn 1 plays for the most part. We do have some turn 1 plays in the 3-drop because of how great Han Solo worth the risk is. Cassian Andor being one of our best. He's a battlefield marine, and just goes hard, easily to put in the smuggle resources, and just kind of make use of him in the later turns. He can close out games super well. Just a great card. 5/5 with the blaster. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Another new card is Jesse. This one is, kind of insane. Handles Sabine. And I think where this is strongest is going to be against, now there are 2 of them. Because if you think that they might be going for that play, you're playing against a deck that likes to do that, and it's going to blow you out, Jesse, give them 2 battle droids. They have to take more actions to set up that play, which allows for you to maybe interact with their plays. So gives you a lot of some insulation to that. And the dude, just look at his stats. He's a 3-cost 4/4, which is Grievous level, legendary levels, but he attacks as a 5/4. He's sweet. Jesse absolutely gets down. So you like to see it. Very, very strong card. Heavy is still one of my favorite cards from Twilight of the Republic. Boba is not a menace anymore, so later guy. But what he does is he still just pumps. He carries a blaster well. He trades up. He can handle the new Han, the new Han and old Han. If you have Coordinate active, he can do a lot. I think where this card is going to really function is just he's going to demand an answer, and he pushes a lot of damage. So Still fantastic card, and one of the best 4-drops in the game. K2SO. I mean, overwhelm, when defeated, does a lot of stuff, 3 damage or discard a card. That's pretty sick. So this package is really great because if we can, we're hoping to maybe even, you know, flood the board where one of these as a 3-drop, or, you know, 3-drop into a 1-drop. There's a lot of lines to where we can drop multiple units, and our top end is Plo Koon. Only Plo Koon. Just because we can cheat him out. If we have Coordinate active, he takes out Sabine. I think that's really strong. On the 4th resource turn, cheat him out, ambush in. He still survives, even taking, you know, the 4 damage. So this is a very, very good card. Let's get Coordinate online and make it difficult for our opponents to do stuff. Plus, this dude just absolutely slams. So Plo Koon, very, very good. Off to space, Cartel Turncoat. Easy, cheated out, you know, we like to see it. It's a good card. We don't care about the bounty drawback, no problem. Just helps us do some damage in space. Carries the Heroic Resolve really well to become basically a Millennium Falcon in space, which is great. Green Squadron A-Wing, another fantastic card, another great card for Heroic Resolve. Just absolute pumper of a space unit, so we love to see it. Talking about pumpy space units, Millennium Falcon, big reason why we wanted to play this deck was the new R2 full of solutions, and Millennium Falcon, piece of junk. This thing is not a piece of junk. This thing absolutely closes games, and if it goes unanswered, it's just game over. So we like to see that. And red 3, this makes games go faster. An unchecked red 3 can be brutal from your opponent. So if they don't respect this card, the game's gonna end fast. So we like to see this. We can cheat it out, and it can be demand and answer, and we love that. So space units aren't super heavy, but not bad, giving us a lot of great, you know, versatility, so we can, you know, interact with both lanes and push some really good damage. Now, our events are going to be Surprise Strike, probably the best card in the deck. If you see multiple Surprise Strikes, you feel like your opponent is playing, you know, a 20 HP base. It goes quickly from 25 to from 30 down to what feels like it's almost nothing, because it just feels so easy to close out a game. So we want to see that. And then we have Surprise Strike at home, aka Breaking In. So this is essentially a Surprise Strike, but gives +2/+0, but also Saboteur. So this might actually have situations where it is better than Surprise Strike. But being able to go up to 5 total pumps that cheat actions is amazing. This helps us trade if we need to clear Sentinels or Leaders or something like that. So this does a lot for us. So these cards are cards we really would like to be seeing. And we have some upgrades. In Heroic Resolve, people do not respect this card right now. If it demands an answer because you can just pump. And I generally will activate it the moment I can to get the use out of it. So sometimes there are turns where I have 3 resources, I flip out Han, I'll put it on Han, and then just immediately use it to push a bunch of damage and put them in an awkward situation, which is exactly what we're trying to do with this deck. Using these pumps, using this speed to make it difficult for our opponent. And another reason to be playing these colors is the Hotshot DL44 Blaster. Easy card to smuggle. We're only at 2 since we do have a chunk of space units, so it can be times where you're going heavy into space where we don't always want to see this, but you always have the Han coming out. So this could flex to being more to 3, but insane card. Absolutely insane. And to talk about some other units that we could be considering, sideboard options and so on. Kira, great into control, really, really strong. You know, some events as well. Bamboozle can take out if they go heavy into a wing leader or a child sin or something like that. Insane card, just even to tap some stuff down to give you a chance to do something. Change of Heart, we do play a lot of smaller units, so change of heart to be able to take something big to get it out of the way is huge for us. So in the later turns, they drop a big Sentinel, you can just take it and or take a big unit to, you know, because we push so much damage to just hit them on the crackback. So incredibly powerful card. Spark of Rebellion could easily be in the main board, but I think because we're the aggressive strategy, this will be a proactive strategy, a more proactive reactive strategy in the later games. So always good to have access to it in the side. Sabling Fangfighter, Dark Saber is still a thing. That card is insane. So we want to have access. This gives us a pretty easy way to use so. You could play Confiscate, but this can be a 2-cost Confiscate, which makes it bad Confiscate, but whenever you get to play it and keep a 3/2 body and behind, it can really, you know, do a lot more than playing the 1 cost. So pick your poison, but you know, you can just play this with Han. It dies immediately, but you get to do the win played. Pirated Starfighter, I think, is a card that might see its way into the main board because of the picking up R2-D2 is kind of insane to be able to replay it again. This is attacking as a Millennium Falcon in space. So 4 HP is insane. So this trades really well in space. This attacks really well in space. Pirated Starfighter is a card that I've definitely been trying to think about a little bit more. Sabine Wren has been in the list for the most part, but I just felt like I wanted to go more Plo Koon. Being able to cheat her out as a 4/2 and she can't be attacked is pretty good, but I just I feel like she always felt a little slow. And in a similar regard, Poe Dameron also felt slow since we aren't able to ambush him in. So I think that might be wrong, but at the same time, we're going lower, we're going faster, so we aren't trying to have turns where all we do are play these cards. We want to be playing multiple cards. We want to be playing pumps. We want to be doing a little bit more in that regard. And similarly, if we're going bigger, we definitely want Wrecker because he kind of does something immediately, which is actually really good. But if I had to choose of these 3, I'd be looking to play Wrecker just because he actually has impact the moment he is played. A couple other units we'll talk about. Grogu can be a great one. Easy to cheat out, and you know, it can just stymie your opponent pretty well, and that's something we like. So good option to have access to. Carries weapons well, so if we go up in blasters, maybe Grogu is a consideration. Also probably just a great sideboard card. Rogue Operative absolutely pumps. Could easily have spots in the main, but being that it doesn't really take stuff with it, is the when it's defending is where it's kind of found itself into the maybe board sideboard option. Card that's has a higher chance to coming back in is Ezra Bridger. I think as I start fixing numbers, this is the first card I'm going to start to bring back in. Cheating actions is insane. You know, some people don't even really know what Ezra does because you play it and you're like, oh yeah, I'll play this off the top. They're like, wait, what? You just attacked. Like, what's my action? It's like, no, this card's sick. So especially if you hit like a surprise strike or a breaking in off the top, that's amazing. And with R2 ignoring protocol, we can see the top card. So we have a lot of ways to filter our deck, and Ezra can help add to that. Another unit that I saw on a lot of Fennec red lists was Principled Outlaw. Since we don't have a way to ambush this, it is not as strong, but it is a very strong unit as a smuggle card, and it's pretty good. If the format ever slows down, maybe, but it's just, again, it's good to know that it is a card we can consider. Shoot first, if we need to slow them down, which we're trying to be the aggressor, so maybe not, but still is a pump spell, and can really be a huge tempo play of being able to take something out that they thought was going to survive. So very, very good. Speaking of tempo plays, probably the best tempo card at 3 is Waylay. Really strong card, super, super good. So you have a lot of really good options with Han worth the risk. He cheats stuff out. He does a lot. He's a 3/6, so he's super solid as a stat line goes. I think, this is one of my favorite leaders to brew because you literally can play any synergy, any strategy. You can do a lot. So this card is fantastic. I love it. And with Cunning, we get a new spin where we're going much faster, pedal to the metal, trying to make that Kessel Run in even less parsecs. So this is super fun. Yeah, Let me know if there's any cards that maybe I missed below, or if you know, been brewing this type of build yourself. Would love to hear about it, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. May the force be with you, and stay awesome.